Hello, dear friends, and welcome to the Seniors Health Today channel. I'm Dr. Laura. After many years of practicing medicine, I no longer worry about financial matters or chasing fame. What truly concerns me now are the quiet departures that happen without anyone being prepared. Just last month, I received the news that 3 acquaintances, each over 60 years old, suddenly passed away in their sleep. They weren't suffering from any serious illness, and there were no warning signs. Their loved ones simply couldn't wake them the next morning. I've witnessed this too many times, and each time, I'm left wondering, is there a way to prevent this? Is there any way to avoid the heartbreaking reality of someone passing peacefully in their sleep, without any warning? The answer is yes. After years in the medical field, I've learned one simple but often overlooked truth. With just the right kind of water at the right time, you can prevent blood clots from forming at night, significantly lowering the risk of a stroke while you sleep. It sounds simple, but it's the result of years of observation, research, and a blend of ancient Eastern practices and modern Western medical evidence. Today, I'm going to share with you everything, from the subtle signs your body sends to the small but powerful drink, and how to consume it to keep your blood flowing smoothly throughout the night. This video is not about a miracle cure, nor is it a magic potion. What I hope is that by the end of this video, you'll no longer ignore those gentle yet dangerous signals that your body is trying to communicate. These signals, if you listen carefully, could save your life or the life of someone you love from a sleep they'll never wake up from. The human body is quite extraordinary. It never stays silent when something is wrong. The real issue is whether we're quiet enough to listen. Many people wake up and notice their fingertips feeling slightly numb or their feet colder than usual, but they brush it off, thinking it's just because they slept in an awkward position. Others wake up every night around 3 to 4 a.m., only to turn back to their pillow and try to fall back asleep, unaware that this could be the first warning bell from their blood flow being blocked. Let me share with you 2 small signs that I often encounter in patients who have experienced a mild stroke, and in some cases, unfortunately, didn't survive. The first sign is a tingling sensation in the arms or legs upon waking up. Have you ever woken up and felt numbness in your fingertips or toes? Sometimes it feels like a mild tingling, like ants crawling. Other times it can feel sharp, like needles pricking. It usually fades after a few minutes, which makes it easy to brush off, but this is not something to ignore. According to Western medicine, this could be a sign of transient ischemic attack, TIA, meaning that blood flow was temporarily blocked. While it may not have been enough to cause a stroke, it's a clear warning that the arteries are narrowing and the blood is becoming thicker and slower. In Eastern medicine, we refer to this phenomenon as yin blood deficiency and yang stagnation, meaning that the blood isn't sufficient to nourish the limbs and the energy, qi, and blood are stagnant. This is especially true when the liver and kidneys, the organs responsible for blood infiltration, begin to weaken. I remember a 68-year-old carpenter once telling me that every morning he had to massage his arms and legs to feel them properly. I advised him to get a checkup for his brain circulation, but he laughed it off, thinking it was nothing. 2 months later, he had a mild stroke while sleeping, but thankfully, he was rushed to the hospital in time. The advice I gave him was simple. When you wake up in the morning, don't rush to get up. Stay lying down for 5 minutes and pay attention to the sensations in your fingers and toes. Let the palms of your hands tell you whether the blood has been circulating well throughout the night. If every morning feels like a struggle for your blood to wake up your cells, then it's a sign that your body has been overburdened. Sign number 2. Waking up in the middle of the night, especially between 3 and 4 a.m. Many people tell me, I don't have insomnia, but every night around 3 a.m., I wake up and I can't fall back asleep. It's a familiar statement, but behind it lies something concerning. Western medicine points out that this is the time when the autonomic nervous system is most prone to disturbances, especially when nighttime blood pressure is unstable. These fluctuations in blood pressure, often unnoticed, are a major cause of strokes during sleep. In Eastern medicine, however, the approach is different. Between 3 and 5 a.m. is the time associated with the lungs' most active period, as it works to expel toxins from the body. For this to happen, blood needs to flow freely. If the energy and blood are stagnant, your body will wake you up, signaling that it needs help. A 71-year-old woman, whom I'll call Mrs. Carter, lived just down the street from me. She once shared that for 6 months, she would wake up every night at exactly 3 a.m. At first, she thought it was just part of aging, but a year later, she had a mild stroke right in her bed. Her left arm became weak, and her speech slowed down. This is something no one ever wants to experience, but it could have been prevented. The advice I gave her was simple. Try keeping track of the times you usually wake up during the night. If you consistently wake up between 3 and 4 a.m., that's a signal you shouldn't ignore. I also recommended that she get a blood pressure monitor at home and measure her blood pressure right when she wakes up and just before going to bed. Not just to know the numbers, but to understand how your blood is flowing. One thing I've learned after years of practice is that the body never betrays us. It's just that sometimes we're too busy to listen to what it's trying to tell us. These small signs, if you pay attention to them early, can help you avoid the silent stroke that could occur in the dark of the night. Now, let's move on to a very common issue that many people face without even realizing it: being thirsty but not daring to drink water before bed. It might seem like a small thing, but it could be the final straw that leads to blood clots. Sometimes what we think are healthy habits may actually be silently harming our health. One of these, which I believe many of you might be dealing with, is the fear of drinking water before bed. I've encountered many elderly patients who tell me, "Doctor, I don't dare drink water at night. If I do, I'll have to wake up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom, and that disrupts my sleep." It seems reasonable, but the consequences are subtle and potentially dangerous. So, why does avoiding water at night increase the risk of a stroke? At night, the body doesn't simply shut down as many people think. On the contrary, internal organs continue to work quietly, especially the circulatory system. While you're resting, your blood becomes thicker and slower. If you don't provide enough water, the blood thickens even more, making it more prone to clotting. And it doesn't take much. A small blood clot blocking a key blood vessel in the brain is enough to trigger a stroke while you're asleep. Western medicine refers to this phenomenon as dehydration-related thrombosis, a high-risk factor, especially for older adults or those with underlying conditions like heart disease, diabetes, or high cholesterol. In Eastern medicine, this is seen as a manifestation of kidney deficiency and insufficient water in the body, meaning there's not enough fluid to regulate the flow of energy and blood, causing an imbalance between yin and yang. As a result, the blood fails to flow smoothly through the meridians. Let me share a real-life story and a painful lesson. I remember Mr. Anthony, a 65-year-old man who used to practice Qigong with my father every morning. He was very disciplined, eating at the right times, getting proper sleep, but he had one habit. He never drank water after 8 p.m. The reason was simple. He feared waking up to use the bathroom during the night. Until one morning, his wife frantically called for an ambulance. His blood pressure had suddenly spiked at around 4 a.m., and he passed out. That was a severe stroke. He survived, but he was left with paralysis on one side of his body. He had never smoked, didn't have diabetes, but that habit of avoiding water at night ended up being the factor that brought him to this point. I can't help but feel regret. If only he had drunk a warm glass of water before bed, things might have turned out differently. So, how can you tell if your body is dehydrated at night? There's a very simple method. First thing in the morning, take a look at the color of your urine. If it's dark yellow and has a strong odor, your body has gone through the night severely dehydrated. If it's light yellow or clear, that's a sign that your blood has been properly hydrated and circulating smoothly throughout the night. It's a simple indicator, but one that can help you avoid one of the most dangerous emergencies: stroke during sleep. This gentle message is important to remember. I'm not advising you to drink excessive amounts of water and wake up to use the bathroom all night long. But I do hope you won't neglect a small, kind action for your bloodstream out of fear of disturbed sleep. Just 1 glass of warm water at the right time can prevent your blood from thickening, ease the strain on your heart, and provide your brain with enough nourishment to safely carry you through a long night. Now, you may be wondering, what kind of water is best? Do you need medicine or special products? No, nothing complicated. The water you need is already in your kitchen. Simple, easy to make, and it has helped my father and many of my patients live peacefully through their senior years. Let's move on to the next part, where I'll reveal a simple yet effective water recipe, your nighttime gift to your bloodstream. If blood is like a river, then sleep is the dark night when the flow is uncontrolled, quiet, but full of danger. Imagine this. Your body is asleep, your heart rate slows down, your blood vessels constrict, and the blood becomes thicker due to dehydration. If a small blood clot forms, it doesn't need to wake you up to attack. It silently blocks the blood flow to your brain, and you may never wake up again. So, what can keep the blood flowing smoothly throughout the night? The answer is 1 small glass of water with the right ingredients at the right time. The formula is simple, but there's a reason I'm not talking about an expensive medicine or some mystical water from deep forests. This water is something everyone can easily prepare in their own kitchen. The magic lies in the combination of ingredients, and here's how you make it. 1 glass of warm water, about 250 milliliters, a thin slice of fresh ginger, 1 teaspoon of pure honey, and a pinch of Himalayan pink salt. That's it, but each ingredient plays a crucial role. Ginger helps stimulate circulation and warms the blood, allowing blood vessels to expand and contract more freely. Honey soothes the nervous system, promotes deep sleep, and reduces stress on the heart during the night. The pink salt provides electrolytes, helping retain enough water in the blood and preventing it from thickening. And the warm water increases absorption, supports digestion, and lays the foundation for the quiet operation of your body throughout the night. This is not a trick or a gimmick. It's a way for you to protect yourself. I don't call this a miracle cure because it's not meant to heal. It's meant to prevent. And most importantly, it's about treating your blood with kindness. We may eat all sorts of healthy meals, take medications regularly, but we often overlook the simplest thing, making sure our blood has enough water to flow freely. You can exercise, you can take your blood pressure medication on time, but if your blood is still thick at night and your heart is working too hard, then even sleep could become your final moment. One important note to remember: if you're taking blood thinners or blood pressure medication, make sure to consult with your doctor before trying this recipe. If you have a stomach ulcer, you should reduce the amount of ginger or substitute it with just warm water and honey. Remember, this isn't a magic potion, but a small, mindful action. You can't control everything while you sleep, but you can prepare your body to ensure your blood flows smoothly throughout the night. In the next part, I'll explain the right way to drink it, because drinking it wrong at the wrong time can turn something beneficial into a harmful practice. Ladies and gentlemen, many people get excited when I talk about drinking warm water and try it right away, but after a few days, they come back to me saying, "Doctor, I've been drinking it, but I'm still having trouble sleeping." They mention that after drinking it, they find themselves waking up in the middle of the night, needing to use the bathroom again. So, I want to clarify, drinking it the right way and at the right time is the key to making this simple remedy effective without causing any inconvenience. First, drink it in the morning to wake up your blood. Morning is the time when your body has just gone through a long night of dehydration. After hours of rest, your blood becomes thicker and slower. If you drink cold water immediately, it's like pouring cold water on your heart. That's why it's best to have this warm cup of water about 10 minutes after waking up. At this point, your body has had a moment to wake up, your blood pressure is more stable, and the warm water gently enters your system, helping soften the blood vessels and stimulating circulation. Many patients tell me that after drinking this water, they feel awake and alert without needing coffee. I smile and say, "Exactly. When your blood flows smoothly, your mind wakes up." Second, Drink it before bed to ensure your blood flows smoothly through the night. This is the most crucial time, but also the easiest time to make mistakes. Many people avoid drinking anything after 8 p.m. because they're afraid of waking up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom. But as I shared earlier, not drinking water at night can make your blood thicker, increasing the risk of a stroke. However, you don't want to drink right before bed because it can make your stomach uncomfortable and definitely cause you to get up to use the bathroom in the middle of the night. So, what's the ideal timing? The best time is to drink it about 30 to 45 minutes before you go to bed. For example, if you plan to sleep at 10 p.m., try drinking the water around 9:15 to 9:30 p.m. This gives your body enough time to absorb the water and help circulation without filling your bladder right before you go to sleep. A few small but very important reminders. First, avoid drinking cold water. It's crucial not to use water that's too cold or straight from the fridge, as it can cause the blood vessels to constrict, which disrupts circulation. It's also important not to overdo it. Just 250 milliliters of water is enough. Drinking more than that can have the opposite effect, making your heart work harder than it should. And most importantly, this warm water routine isn't meant to replace any prescribed medication. If you're taking medication, this is just a supportive measure to help improve your blood flow. I've always believed that taking care of your health doesn't have to be complicated. It's about developing small, consistent habits and doing them the right way. Just 1 cup of water, drunk at the right time and in the right way, can make a huge difference, helping your blood flow smoothly through the night, guiding you to a peaceful sleep, and waking up feeling refreshed. In the next part, I'd like to sit down with you, just like we're having a cozy afternoon tea, and share some thoughts and reflections on today's discussion. Dear friends, as the years have passed, I've come to realize that the simplest things often hold the deepest value. A warm cup of tea, a kind word, or a restful night's sleep. These are the precious things we sometimes overlook in our busy lives. I'm not here to convince you that the ginger, honey, and Himalayan salt water is a miracle cure. But I truly believe that if we take just a few moments each evening to prepare and enjoy this cup, we're not only caring for our bodies but also soothing our souls. Imagine this. As night falls, in the quiet of your home, you sit by the window, sipping your warm cup of water, feeling the warmth spread through your body. This isn't just a simple health routine. It's a moment of connection with yourself, listening to the subtle rhythms of your body and soul. Through these reflections, I hope you find a small but meaningful habit to adopt in your daily life. Because taking care of your health doesn't always have to be grand or complicated. Sometimes, it's about listening to and fulfilling the simple needs of your body. There are habits, small but dangerous, that can silently harm your heart. Some killers don't need knives or loud sounds or even daylight, they simply wait. Each morning, each late night, each moment you neglect your health, they grow stronger. Sadly, many of us unknowingly aid them every day by ignoring these seemingly harmless habits. I remember another case, a 71-year-old gentleman who had been a mathematics teacher. He lived with meticulousness, cleanliness, and order. Every meal and every sleep was planned. His children would joke that he lived like a clock. But one cold winter night, he suddenly suffered a stroke right in front of the bathroom door. When I arrived, he was still breathing, but his body was cold to the touch. His heart had become so weak that it no longer had the strength to pump blood to his brain. The surprising cause? He had been holding in his urine from 2 a.m. until well past 5 a.m., thinking that the cold weather and a little extra sleep would help. No one ever teaches us that holding in urine is like putting your heart into an emergency situation. Imagine holding a full bladder for hours while your heart continues to pump and your kidneys keep filtering. The internal pressure gradually builds, and your heart, in silence, has to work twice as hard to keep everything balanced. But the heart, fatigued and no longer resilient, cannot keep up. And in that careless moment, whether you get up too quickly or step into a cold environment, your heart can't take the sudden change, and it stops. Some people say, "It's just holding in urine, it's no big deal." But I tell them it's precisely because it's something so small that we tend to overlook it. And because we overlook it, it becomes a silent killer, weakening our blood vessels and our heart with each passing night, even when we think we are resting peacefully. Another time, I was caring for a 63-year-old woman who lived alone. She loved reading books, keeping up with the news, and eating breakfast precisely at 6 a.m. to catch her favorite radio program. She was very quick when it came to eating. In less than 7 minutes, she would finish a hot dish and a strong cup of coffee, then sit down in her chair to listen to social commentary. Less than 3 months later, she began experiencing heart palpitations every morning, her heart struggling to keep up with her hurried pace. I once sat across from her and asked a simple question. "Are you happy when you eat?" She looked up at me and fell silent. She had never thought about it that way. Eating was just something she had to do, quickly, on time, and in order to keep up with the clock. I told her, when your heart needs rest, you're making it focus on digestion. When your stomach needs calm, you're forcing it to work faster. You think your heart can handle that, but over time it becomes too much. For years, many people have believed that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, so they rush through it to move on to other things. But no one remembers that after a whole night of working silently, the heart needs a bit of relaxation. Just a little bit of haste or stress is enough to cause the blood vessels to constrict, and the heartbeat becomes irregular. That's when you may experience unexplained palpitations. I call these 3 habits: listening to the news right when you wake up, holding your urine at night, and rushing through meals. These are 3 silent arrows aimed straight at the hearts of older adults. They don't cause immediate pain, they don't lead to a fever, but they wear down your blood vessels and your heart day by day, moment by moment. And eventually, when your body can no longer take it, it will collapse, like a wooden house that's rotted through at its foundation. You don't need to change your entire life to be healthy, but it's essential to start recognizing that the small things are often the most dangerous. They hide in habits, lurking behind familiarity, always waiting for you to relax your guard. If you still doubt me, try stopping these 3 habits for 7 days. Don't listen to the news first thing in the morning, don't hold your urine until 2 a.m., and don't eat when you're still busy with other things. Just 3 days like this, and your body will thank you in the best way possible. By feeling more at ease, sleeping better, breathing more steadily, and your heart no longer racing for no reason. These are 7 silent revitalizing effects. Some big changes come from a powerful push, but some recoveries are as simple as a slow breath, the gentle light of morning, or a meal without the noise of the TV competing for attention. The most miraculous thing isn't how many years you add to your life, but how well you live in a day when your body isn't complaining, your heart isn't aching, your stomach isn't heavy, and your sleep isn't restless. I remember a 76-year-old man who, after hearing my advice, started waking up early but stopped turning on the TV. Instead, he opened the window, sat and watched the marigold flowers bloom, poured himself a warm glass of water, and quietly listened to the birds, the first companions of his day. After just 5 days, he called to say, "It's true. My heart is beating more regularly. I don't have that anxious feeling anymore." I smiled. It was his biological rhythm returning to its natural course, his blood vessels no longer constricting from stress, and for the first time, his heart was starting the day with calmness, not fear. Another woman, who frequently had to get up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom, used to hold it in because she was afraid of the cold until almost morning. After realizing that holding her urine wasn't being strong, it was actually torturing her heart, she made a change. She now leaves soft slippers by her bed, puts on a sweater, walks gently to the bathroom, and does a backward massage for 10 circles before going back to bed. After just 1 week, she slept more deeply, her mornings were no longer dizzying, her back no longer sore, and for the first time in years, she said, "Now my sleep isn't a battle." The third person is an older gentleman who loved listening to the news so much that he'd eat breakfast while listening to political analysis. I told him, "Breakfast is when your heart needs rest, not when it should be racing to understand the world. He agreed to try turning it off, sitting down slowly, taking small bites, chewing carefully, and after his meal, he did nothing but sit quietly for 10 more minutes. As a result, he said he no longer felt tired after eating, his heart beat softly, and he didn't feel short of breath. And, as he put it, the food seemed to taste better. These effects are not advertised. No one is selling them in the market. But when you make these small changes, you'll find that your body responds in ways you never expected. But your body will quietly send you a thank you note. A breath that's easier when you climb the stairs, a morning without trembling hands while making tea, a night without tossing and turning. That's the response, the proof that when you stop hurting your heart every day, it will stop fighting you. It will begin to cherish you again. I've met people who thought they had no hope left, who had gotten used to blood pressure medication, heart monitors, the feeling of being out of breath with every exhale, and pain with every inhale. But with just 3 small changes, stopping the intake of negative news, not holding in urine, and eating slowly without distractions, they began to feel truly alive again. They no longer felt their heart racing for no reason. They no longer felt confused. Every morning, their heart no longer felt like it was barely hanging on by a thread. There was one woman who, after following these 3 changes for 21 days, wrote me a handwritten letter. In her letter, she said, "I don't know why I feel so emotional. It's just eating slowly and sleeping peacefully, but maybe it's because I had forgotten what it feels like to live normally." I read her letter in silence for a long time because I knew the words she wrote weren't just for me. They were for you too. For those of you who are listening right now, feeling the subtle pain of aging, unsure of where to begin. Well, start tomorrow or even tonight with one small choice that could save your heart. Let your heart breathe in peace for once. Let it eat slowly. Let it sleep without the noise. In the next part, I'll show you the simplest, most gentle ways, ones that are neither difficult nor expensive, to turn these 3 changes into solid daily habits. If you've been listening up to this point, stay with me just a little longer, because what's coming next might be exactly what your heart has been waiting for all these years. 5 minutes at the start of the day can change the fate of your heart. I understand that by now, you might feel like you've heard enough. That's easy to understand because the heart grows weary, not from a lack of information, but from too many missed pieces of advice. But please don't leave just yet. What I'm about to share is not some lofty philosophy or grand call to action. It's simply a set of straightforward instructions, light as a breath. But if followed properly, they have the power to keep your heart steady for many years to come. Start with the first 5 minutes of your day. You may think that in a 24-hour day, 5 minutes doesn't matter much, but I assure you, those 5 minutes are the ones that can determine the fate of your heart. When you wake up, don't turn on the TV, don't reach for something to read, and don't let the noisy world flood your space. Instead, wash your face with warm water, open the window to let the cool morning air touch your skin. Pour yourself a small glass of water, and sit quietly. Don't think about anything, don't try to do anything. Just listen to the birds singing, hear your breath, feel your heart beating evenly after a long night. In just 5 minutes like this, your blood vessels will gently relax, your blood pressure won't rise suddenly, and your heart won't be subjected to heavy news. And from there, the rest of your day will be different. If by chance you wake up at 2 or 3 a.m. because of the urge to urinate, don't hesitate, don't think. Just a little more sleep. Instead, sit up slowly, place your feet on the floor, take a deep breath, put on a warm coat if it's cold, then walk slowly. After using the restroom, gently tap your chest 10 times and massage your heart area in a circular motion 20 times clockwise. This is not superstition. It's the practice of the Japanese, Koreans, and ancient Chinese to protect their hearts through the cold winter months. When it comes to breakfast, don't treat it as just a routine. Treat it as a ceremony. Turn off the TV, place your phone far away, and for every bite you take, chew at least 30 times. After each bite, put your chopsticks down, not to slow down but to let your heart rest. You might think these practices are hard to maintain, but I've seen an 81-year-old man do this consistently for 3 years. He says it's not because he has more time, but because he wants to live more years in peace. A 76-year-old woman from my hometown sets her alarm for 4:30 a.m. every morning. Not to exercise, but to sit quietly for 5 minutes and watch the sunrise. She says, "As long as I see the sun rise, my heart feels fulfilled." No one forces you to do it all, but if you choose just one thing, just one, I beg you to keep the 5 minutes of quiet at the start of your day. Because those 5 minutes might be the ones that help you avoid sudden pain in the afternoon, the ones that make your nights sleep peaceful, and the ones that will allow your heart to thank you after all these years of being treated like a machine. And if you're thinking, "I know, I'll do it later," please don't just put it off. Habits don't wait for you to be ready. They silently take root in your days. You may not realize it yet, but right after this, I will share a heartfelt whisper that could be the last message a weary heart wants to send to you. If you can stay just a few more minutes, please do, because this may not only save your heart, but also remind you of something that life's busyness may have made you forget. You deserve to live gently, without waiting for pain to teach you how to let go. Your heart doesn't need medicine. It only needs to be listened to. I've met thousands of people throughout my medical career. What haunts me the most isn't the serious, incurable diseases, but the minor ailments that were overlooked. No one collapses because of one big thing. They fall because of many small things they thought wouldn't matter. A morning news report full of anxiety, skipping bathroom breaks because they're too lazy to get up, rushing through breakfast while the TV blares in the background. Each one, adding up, becomes a burden that the aging heart can no longer carry. Someone once asked me, "What's the point of living long when you have to take medicine, follow restrictions, and worry about everything?" I didn't answer right away. I simply said, living long doesn't mean extending years. It means living each day without pain, without worry, without your heart calling out in distress. I don't want you to live long in a tired, burdensome way. I want you to live every day with peace, without pain, and to know how to love your own heart. It doesn't take much. Just respect your body's rhythm. Don't bombard your heart with bad news before it even wakes up. Don't make your heart strain in the middle of the night just because you're afraid of the cold. Don't make it work while you're chewing your food and worrying about the world. The heart is not a machine. It is a companion that has been beating inside you from the moment you were born to the very last moment of your life. And if you've walked with me to this point, thank you for not only listening to me, but also listening to yourself. I believe that someone who knows how to pause and listen will also know how to live slowly and heal. If these thoughts resonate with you, please keep them, share them, and if one day you find yourself weary, your heart racing, life feeling heavy with burdens, please come back to the Seniors Health Today channel. There are no loud noises, no sales pitches, no distractions that make you feel left behind. Just real stories from an older person, shared with those learning how to live deeply, live in rhythm, and live kindly with their own heart. Click subscribe because one day, during a sleepless night or an anxious morning, these words might be the gentle breath your heart needs. You'll need a soft voice, a reminder that you're not alone on the journey to healing. Dear friend, the heart doesn't need much to find peace. It only needs one thing, to be loved the right way every day. Thank you for watching this video.